You're listening to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List on 93 WIPC.
Welcome back to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List. We have traveled to great lengths today to get you the best information possible when it comes to trips and vacations, all with the help of our special guest, Kathy Duvall of Beach Bum Vacations. She awesome or what? I tell you, if you have a question about trips or hiring a travel agent, she has got the answer for you. 35 cruises. I couldn't believe it. But guess what? Now it's time to transition to our Writer's Block segment. We're not done talking today. We're going to welcome in Emily Udell, Senior Interactive Editor with Angie's List, with our Angie's List Weekly. She's been on the show in the past, talk with us about the creation of the AL Weekly. It's our mobile content app for the iPad and Android, and she's going to share with us today some information from a special issue on transportation. She's a fantastic content creator in the Angie's List newsroom. We're very excited to have her back again. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
Well, in talking about transportation, I know that you like to bike. I've seen you bike to work. You're an expert on roller skates, and you also purchased a new car recently. Do you have a favorite way of getting around town?
I should say it's just a new car to me, not a brand new car, but I did purchase a car earlier this year. And I also just got a new to me bicycle this month. Okay. So I love all kinds of transportation, honestly. It just depends on where you're going. And, I don't mind flying somewhere. I don't mind a long road trip, but I especially like to bike around downtown. I just think biking gives you a sort of perspective that you don't get via any other transportation. It's a little slower, a little more meditative. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and biking around our downtown is something that's getting better and better. Indy has taken a lot of great strides to make this a bikeable city. Did you bike to the studio today, or did you drive?
I didn't, actually. I was up in Broad Ripple, so
Gotcha.
I used my car.
Well, as I mentioned, this month, the month of August for the Angie's List Weekly, it's revolving around transportation in all of its various forms. What made this an important topic that you guys wanted to dedicate the month of August to?
Well, there's so many service angles to cars and transportation, and obviously that's our focus at Angie's List. So we really wanted to explore auto sales, auto repair, classic car restoration, and then just get into some other aspects of transportation. So we have stories on, for example, taking flying lessons, bike share programs, car share programs, hiring a beer bike. We just kind of run the gamut with transportation. We just thought it was a cool topic that we could explore from a lot of different angles, and just it would sustain us throughout the month. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite sets of issues because I love the covers, just how there's movement now. I'm not going to use the technical terms, of course, but it's just really awesome visual display of transportation. And I wanted to start off with having you tell us a little bit about the A to Z guide to getting around. What were some of your favorite items from that list?
Well, just to give you background on that, that's a new content piece that we just came up with earlier this year. And basically, it's a fun piece for our reader where we go through the alphabet and we give a tidbit, piece of trivia, fact, statistic, something like that for each letter of the alphabet. And we kind of tried to get through a bunch of different types of transportation in that. So one of the ones that I really liked, because I'm a word nerd, and I think those little Vespa scooters are kind of cool, but one of my favorites from that was when they debuted the Vespa in the 1940s. Apparently, Italian language developed immediately a new verb, vespare. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but basically it's a verb that means to go somewhere on a Vespa. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then being a bike person, I liked learning that the penny farthing, those bicycles with the big wheels, apparently their name comes from two British coins that are different sizes, so the penny and the farthing. So I like that stat too.
I don't know if anybody in the history of the world has ever seen a Vespa and not felt just a little bit better inside. I don't know. Every time I see somebody on a Vespa, I'm like, yeah, I support that.
I agree. I'd love to ride on one. So if anyone out there is listening and wants to give me a ride on their Vespa,
we need to make that happen. Well, a lot of travel still revolves around vehicles, and you broke down the argument between buying and leasing a new car. What did you learn there? And I imagine having your own recent experience buying a car played a role in that as well.
Amanda Bell, our writer for Angie's List Weekly, did that piece, and I know that's a question that a lot of people ask themselves when they're about to get a new vehicle. And we just kind of wanted to break up the difference in those two options. And I think that the lease option is really great for people who really like to stay in a new car and upgrade every couple years. Typically, what she found is the payment is a little lower than if you're buying a new car, but obviously you don't have the equity in that car like if you bought a new car and you're paying every month on a loan. So or if you have the cash to buy it outright. So yeah, you're basically just paying on the depreciation of the vehicle if you're leasing it. So that's one thing. If you like to drive, or if you have to or like to drive a lot, leasing may not be the best option just because they typically have a mileage cap. So that was one reason I chose not to go that route. Yeah. I actually don't drive that much, but I'd love to have the option of driving across the country and not being penalized. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're both great options for getting a new car. It just kind of depends on your lifestyle and what works for you.
No question. That mileage cap really does come into play, and it's something to be aware of as you're making your choice there. You also had a used car checklist and one of the issues. What can you tell us that would be helpful to keep us all from ending up with a lemon?
Well, there's so many things, and I thought a lot about these because I purchased a newer used car when I bought a car earlier this year. One of the little things that I just recommend to people, well, actually, let's start from the beginning. First, I'd say do a lot of research online before you actually purchase a car. Just so you know what you're getting into when you walk into the dealership and you don't make an emotional decision based on just seeing a car immediately that you love. And maybe you don't know that that's a bad year for that type of car or something like that. Bring a friend who can keep you in check and remind you of what your goals are in making the purchase. Do test drives, check everything. You know, even if it's the winter time, check the air conditioner, make sure it works before you drive off the lot. Right. Another thing we've seen in Angie's List, and I think we do mention it in our article, it's a really great idea to have a pre-purchase inspection from a trusted mechanic. Things like Carfax are great, but if somebody didn't report an accident through their insurance, it might not show up on the Carfax report that there has been damage to that car in the past. So getting a mechanic to actually do a once-over, they'll usually charge you for about a half hour to an hour of labor to do that, but then you really know that what you're getting is a good vehicle that's going to last and is not going to need repairs a couple weeks down the line.
Yeah, very good advice. And of course, the car is going to come into play on this next question. And we've talked about everything today from cruises to flying internationally. One thing we haven't talked about is taking a road trip, and there's a whole road trip issue this month in the AO Weekly. What do people need to know before they hit the road?
Well, we have a couple different articles sort of giving checklists for things to do before you hit the road, and some of them have to do with your car, like, for example, making sure to top off all the fluids, getting together your road emergency kit, you know, some flares, some extra fuses, things like that you can just put in the trunk of your car. Download a couple of apps that will help you along the way, like find out where to get the cheapest fuel. But then we also have some tips for things like home security and pet sitting and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a variety of advice that we give on different services. Pertaining to both getting your vehicle ready, but also to getting your house ready and making sure things are safe and secure in your absence.
Yeah, no question. I wanted to ask, do you have any favorite road trip memories or a favorite road trip you've ever taken?
Oh, I love road trips, and I haven't taken a very long one in the recent past, but when I was in college, I used to go every spring break. This sounds kind of cheesy, but we had another friend from high school who went to school in New Orleans, and a friend's parents who lived in Pensacola, near the Pensacola area of Florida. So we'd take a long road trip, go down to New Orleans, and then go over to Pensacola, and we'd just make stops at Graceland and things like that. So that was always a good time with friends.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Emily, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show to share with us today. We love the AL Weekly and did a great job of explaining what's in store for us.
Thank you so much.
You can check out Emily's work by downloading the Angie's List Weekly on your iPad and now your Android device. You can download issues individually, or you can even subscribe to get each issue as it releases, and you'll also get an Angie's List membership included. It is absolutely worth your time, and it's worth checking out. The Angie's List Weekly. Find it in the iPad and Android devices. Another big thank you to Kathy Duvall of Beach Bum Vacations for coming on the show today. If you missed anything or want to catch up on our past episodes, you can do so by visiting our website and downloading the Chat with the Experts podcast from iTunes. You can subscribe, stay up to date on every show as we release it. You can also find us at angieslist.com. And one last time, promo code WIBC40. You'll get 10% off an annual membership. Check it out today. Thank you so much for joining us today on Chat with the Experts. I'm Kyle Hawk, and we'll catch you next time.
More than 2 million members use the power of Angie's List to find and hire great local service providers. Whether you need a plumber or a pet sitter, Angie's List has you covered. See ratings and reviews in hundreds of categories, shop popular offers, and request scheduling assistance directly online. Memberships start at just $9.99 per year. That's less than $1 a month. Join now and get 40% off with promo code WIBC40. Visit angieslist.com today.